don't have to win your lane that hard. You just need to move first, cancel the Feather Airstrike, and the rest will become easy. But once again, it's going to be MHRLK on the blue side. PBN Strike has decided to stick to the red side. They want to keep playing with their counter draft. And to be fair, last game, credits to PBN. They had some really good ideas, stealing away the Lunox from the gold lane and putting it into the jungle as a means to an end.
Yep, and we did talk a good amount about Ling. But however, if you ask me if PBN Strike were to ban the Ling, I think that it would be kind of like a wasted ban because there are also a lot of other options that have a lot of mobility that can do pretty much the same thing that Ling does. And MHRLK, if they pick like any of those other options, for example, like a
Literally any tank jungler.
Any
tank jungler.
Or maybe like what Karakuri wants to see. Tank Lancelot jungler.
I mean, there's a certain level of Lancelot play that I would expect if you are that confident in bringing it in. But more importantly, I think it's team coordination. If we're going to see any team pull out a Lancelot tank jungler, it's MHRLK. Or maybe even GameLab. One or the two. I'll take either or.
Yeah, but let's see. Because right now, MHRLK, I think they're comfortable with their strat. Their strat allows them to do two different things, split push as well as team fight, so they might go for that. But interestingly, they banned Ling, okay. But anyway, there's a lot of other options, so not much of a big issue.
Okay, let's try and make a read here, right? The fact that both Fanny and as well as Ling have, at the very least, that MHRLK is probably going to be playing towards more gold-oriented, more EXP-oriented compositions with a strong pushing mid. Even if it's a weak pushing mid, they're going to have a tank jungler which can actually exert control over the rivers of the map. Arlet gets banned out for the side of PBN Strike here. Kind of interesting. Do they have a read on MH?
Well, we have yet to see how Arlet is being used in this tournament. Not even before this. So I guess everyone just doesn't want to take that risk. But this is a very safe pick if you ask me. Kaja, I think we can expect to see the Farsa again because it's a good combo. The moment that you manage to catch one, you pull back in, there will be a huge nuking damage waiting in.
PBN Strike, once again, going to be taking away counter drafting. Yeah, they're just counter drafting. They're making sure that they put MHRLK on their toes, make them feel a little uncomfortable in the draft. Let's see how it plays out because their second pick is going to be quite important here. They could technically flex if they want to, but I think Martis, yeah, there we go. Martis, somebody who doesn't care. You have a suppress, you have CC. I don't care about it, I got anti-CC.
I'm kind of surprised the Martis is only about 43% win rate though. I thought Martis is a very good hero, like what you say, right? Anti-CC, lots of damage, decent mobility. So yeah, pretty interesting. I guess that's where teams know how to counter the Martis, which I will be interested to see how MHRLK deals with it.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to the early game. You don't want Martis to snowball out of control. You don't want him walking in and 1v1ing your jungler. Like, that's the most uncomfortable position here. Ooh, boy. The fact that the draft went down a little concerning, but don't worry, we'll get right back to it once we figure out what's going on. In the meantime, right, I think this does kind of give away the playstyle of PBN, right? They're looking to counter draft for the majority of the game. They've taken away the Farsa, but they still banned out specifically the Joy, which means that they still want to play a marksman jungler of some sort.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that is the Marsa pick like a, the Farsa pick, is it a forced pick? Like it wasn't in their plan until they see the Kaja and they're like, oh, oops, we forgot about Farsa. Because I thought that Farsa would be a good ban because of how the combination happened.
For sure, for sure. I think the awkward position, it just shows that PBN isn't very comfortable putting Valentina into the support position or a flex position in these scenarios. And to be fair, I agree with them. I feel like Valentina, other than the middle position of the map, it's really awkward here. But there we go. Okay, a little bit of a difference here. So it's going to be PBN Strike on the blue side. They've decided to actually take, this is a very different narrative now, but the bans still stay true. MHRLK is going to go for an early game composition for the time being. Level 4s are going to be really strong. They ban out the Hayabusa, but they lock in the Edith. Could be support, could go into the EXP lane.
Oh, I'm loving the Valentina pick here by PBN. So this is the answer to Farsa.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's the answer. I think it's a good way to handle it, right? I still think, you know, Yves might have been a pretty good pick here. But the question is, when you lock in Valentina, for MHRLK, what ultimates do you want to give her, right? I mean, Feathered Airstrike, it's kind of a no-brainer. She's going to take that. But what else do you want to put in her arsenal? Do you want to give her a Franco Bite, for an example? Like, you want to minimize that sort of damage.
Yeah, you definitely want to get all those, like, AoE nukers. Or even whatever kind of CC. So looking at the current pick of MHRLK, definitely is only Farsa for now.
The only Farsa for now. We do see Kufra get banned out from PBN. What are they planning? They have a very clear plan in mind. They're getting rid of Assassins. They're making sure that they get rid of Wan specifically, even though they're on the blue side, right? So I would imagine they want to have somebody who dashes. Who else is very dashy at this point? Lancelot technically is pretty dashy. You might get your wish here coming in from PBN Strike. They might have heard us. Brody gets banned and Hayabusa gets banned for the side of MHRLK. So one lane bully is gone. Melissa is still technically available. Yep, there we go. The Melissa ban comes in from PBN Strike.
Okay, I'm thinking big, right? I'm thinking crazy.
Alright, let's think crazy.
How about Cho?
Cho.
Yeah.
Gold lane?
Maybe. Or maybe jungle.
Or maybe jungle. Oh, yeah. Actually, jungle doesn't sound...
Jungle Cho.
Jungle Cho doesn't sound too bad, but I think I would rather him EXP. Nah. Put him as a support. Put him as a support. He can abuse Concussive Blast a little bit better. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what support they lock in. It does matter what gold laner that they do have. And obviously, you have the Swiss Army knives amongst marksmen. It's going to be Claude locked in for the side of MHRLK.
Oh, interesting. Claude has been picked a good number of times as well and has worked out. So it will be interesting to see how MHRLK does this. But then again, for Claude to be really effective, you need someone to start off the fight for him. And then he will jump in later on, puts the ult in, and deals as much damage as possible. But if you can't think about it, now PBN Strike, two tanky heroes. Got Glue, we got the Arkai. And Arkai might be the one to try to stop Barca, maybe?
It's probably going to be Glue. I would imagine that Glue is going to be the one going to be on duty to stop the Feathered Airstrike here. I think Akai, yes, if he's in position, but I think his bigger problem is to make sure that Martis is not even close to the Lord Pit. Martis has a couple of options at the very least. His anti-CC allows him to get in on the pit, but it doesn't guarantee him to secure the Lord or Turtle. But very interesting draft coming out for PBN Strike. I really like the direction that they were going with. MHRLK, though, need to top this off with, there we go, a Franco. They are willing to give the bite over to the Valentina.
Low win rate, but to me it doesn't matter because Franco is very versatile. You can use him as a roamer, or you can just use it as a genuine tank to just go front and protect Claude even. And can you imagine this? One hook, one bike, Barca comes in, boom.
Insta-kill. Guaranteed insta-kill with the Blazing Duet or the Feathered Airstrike as long as they are not behind. But that's the thing about Franco, right? His presence is only felt when his Iron Hook is off of cooldown. We're just going to have to wait and see how this is going to be played out here. It feels like PBN Strike came in with a very solid game plan with their draft. Thoughts on this? Do you think PBN Strike is going to be able to even up the score 1-1?
Honestly, I'm still liking MHRLK for now because I feel that the Franco pick at the end, they don't really have an answer for it because they have very low mobility. So I think Franco will be able to take advantage of that. And plus, he doesn't need to overthink like, oh, who's going to hook? Because all of them can be pretty much easily hooked by him.
All of them have value in certain situations. Now to remind you guys, this is the upper bracket round of 16 match number 1. The score's already 1-0 in favor of MHLK playing on the red side. Iron Hook already done. Ricardo forced the flicker out of there. Woo! PBN on the blue side. Wipe swept off of Brow.
Okay, first minute flicker use, that's still okay because where he wants to use the flicker the most is when he gets his ult. Then that's where he must ensure that his flicker is on point. If not, it's going to be difficult to execute.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult here. Now, unfortunately, Anzai is not having the best of times. The support has rotated to the side, but Little Wanderer is secured. Wait a minute. No, MHRLK still secure the Little Wanderer as well. Sorry, for junglers out there, it's slightly annoying not winning that with a man advantage. Oh,
Whoa.
that was such a good idea. If CJ was able to get that combination of dashing forward, getting the knockup, but flickering on the last frame, he would have teleported Glue underneath his turret.
I'm waiting to see when will he land the next hook, because so far from what we see the first one, it just shows that you just need to hook. You can just hook anyone, and anyone is fine.
It's a Cold War. Look at Franco. He basically just wants to show his presence and threaten them with the hook. He doesn't necessarily have to throw him. His presence alone is going to force PBN to rethink about situations. But look at the junglers. Both sides currently, even despite the fact that Little Wanderer went into the wrong hands, PBN still is trying to keep up to speed with Kelvin. They cannot afford Ryzel to actually fall behind and start losing retribution battles.
True enough. I really like the thought that the presence of Franco is not only about dealing damage, but also the psychological damage to the opponent as well. Like the moment you see one, you're always thinking, when will he throw the hook?
Here we go. Turtle is in trouble. Edith already pushing Nanami out, but Martis is going to be the one that wins it out. Split comes on through with a guaranteed of the heavy spin. His heavy spin held for too long. He ends up dying, and they still don't kill the target that they were looking for. It's a 1-for-1 trade on both sides. Unfortunately, nobody really benefits from this situation except for MHRLK.
Ooh. Now that the fact that we can see that PBN Strike, they don't really have a hero that has high mobility, we can see that they're struggling. The moment Feather Airstrike opens, what are they going to do? The only thing that they can do is just back off. They cannot counter back and continue on the fight.
They really can't. So again, that Feathered Airstrike, in terms of priority, very high up on the list. I'm not sure how PBN Strike is going to try and bait it out, but I think Nanami is going to have to do a lot of work this game if he wants to actually be of use for the rest of the team.
Yeah, so I'm feeling that PBN Strike, they are struggling in terms of mobility, and this will be the thing as we go along the game, because we must think that during the later stage of the game, we might see some level of split pushing from MHRLK, and PBN Strike, they have no answer for that.
But let's not forget that MHRLK, in situations whereby it's a 4v4 without the Farsa, or at the very least without their initial initiators, it's not going to be a very easy time. Because again, there are so many people from the side of PBN Strike who can actually maneuver around or look for flank angles against MHRLK, and not to mention just high CC overall. If you don't like the situation, heavy spin out of there, brother.
Yeah, then that's going to be a waste of skill. Definitely. But now we can see that they're surrounding. So, okay. So I really want to see what PBN Strike does. Are they going to repeat the same mistake as before, whereby firstly they didn't check the pushes?
No!
Oh, okay.
He's good. He's good. He's good. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. The Iron Hook didn't land. They only got the flicker out of him. They could be could be a
Wait,
response
don't
here.
do it.
PBN, he's looking for it. They got the suppressed bot. It's going to be the pushback from Martis that saves the day, putting it in an awkward angle. Good hook, but it doesn't really matter if nobody's going to get the kill, the turnaround, and especially with CY. With the help of Martis to execute it down the backline, and Nami ends up being isolated by himself. Forced out in a situation we cannot win. 2 already down, and
Nami.
a third on the way. Give it to them. MHRLK is just too good.
Beautiful hook at the end by NIX. That was nicely done onto the turret, and that's the end of Nanami. I mean, they just look at it again. MHRLK, they know how to coordinate. They know how to back out of fights, and they kind of baited PBN Strike to go inside of their jungle. The moment that they are inside the jungle, PBN Strike wants to go back out, but by that time they're caught.
They're caught out very far, and not to mention they didn't even get that. They wanted to get one initial kill. They technically got it, but now topside getting punished. Nanami realizes he's in trouble, but a self-sustaining EXP later like Glue, he ain't going down so easily, and Daizo doesn't have the base health to keep himself alive. Nanami survives with the help of Ryzel. Well done as PBN Strike take one back.
Yeah, they gotta win back at least one of those lanes, but look at the votes from our fans. Got a lot of fans here from MHRLK, I must say.
Oh my goodness, Ricardo! Can he get out
Ricardo,
that time? No, he cannot. The last auto, dealing too much, disrespecting the space. Once again, the Bloody Hunt refuses to be disrespected.
But then again, we did see a couple of times that the flicker was mostly used to escape. So if you use flicker to escape, especially if you're a Kaja, then that means your execution for your ult is not going to be as what you expect.
Yeah, and in situations like that, just let me die. Just take it. It doesn't matter. His flicker is coming back up 3 seconds, which is very important for the upcoming turtle fight. So I want to see how they want to play this out, right? If you look at the goal, we look at the items. First items are starting to roll on through. Farsa, huge right now. Farsa is huge. She already has her Clock of Destinies very relatively early into the game, and the longer the game progresses, the stronger she becomes.
Okay, so here we go.
Oh, Ricardo, he finds the catch, but it really doesn't matter.
Right.
He gets locked on backwards by Anax, and now the rest of the team is taking position to move forward.
Kelvin
has already found one. Can he get a second one? He should be. Bloods is in trouble, but he gets the knockback with the help of Rizal. He pulls through. Bloody Hunt on the first target in front. Glue ends up dying, but at least the backline feels a little safer until Rizal walks into 4, and now it's all up to Bloods to leave him. They have to go. MHRLK has set a name for themselves. They've set a precedent for themselves, and now they want to take the tier 1s.
Let's Anzai. Just let that go. But wait a second, dude. Ricardo, what were you doing there?
I mean, he's disrespecting the space. They have to make sure that they take the sacrifices. They're handing some of these kills over to MHRLK, right now seeming to be the more cohesive team on the calls, but the team has a much better game sense overall. There's a lot of moves, micro moves that MHRLK are doing, and it's slowly starting to add up.
You know what? If Ricardo didn't sacrifice himself there, he could have still fought for the turtle, but yeah. There you go. Overextension.
I don't think, personally, I don't think, even if he was still alive, I don't think they were going to touch the turtle regardless. MHRLK, at this point of time, they've got the level advantages on a majority of their members. PBN Strike, as of right now, they're going to have to think of a situation whereby they can steal the Feathered Airstrike safely, and they need to imagine how these team fights will start looking like.
And not only stealing it safely, you need to re-execute it safely.
Yeah. That's the hardest part. Like, you have to waste time to take the Feather Airstrike and then reposition to use the Feather Airstrike. It's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo that we don't want to get into for now. Top side tier 1 is going to get traded for bottom side tier 1. Doesn't look like there's too much here. I do feel that MHRLK are letting this happen, and this is what I'm talking about when I say calculated losses.
All right, let's see if it's going to be calculated losses here. So they see Sajif. They don't know that Daiso is there, but I guess they kind of learned their lesson from the previous round is that you don't overly focus onto one player, especially if you don't see the rest of them, because you'll be spending all your skills on that one player and immediately you'll be counterback. So it's great to see PBN Strike actually learning really fast, and hopefully they'll be able to come back quickly.
Yeah, quickly is probably not the word I would use for this. PBN Strike is going to need a lot of time, right? Bloods, he needs at least 4 items to start feeling really relevant. He is going for the Golden Staff Corrosive Scythe build, and oh, thank goodness he didn't get caught out there. Ricardo, don't disrespect the place again. Remember that they still have the Iron Hook. And, oof. How do they actually go on this? Now they have no position on the turret as well, and now the Lord is going to be coming up, and MHRLK can force out a fight in their favor.
Look, so for PBN to wait in the jungle, right? So there's no real big reason for MHRLK to actually go that direction. So you kind of think about it, there's no objective there. So for them to like be there, I would say it's kind of like wasting some time, whereas they could use that time to kind of farm on the other side of the jungle, try to clear out some lanes instead of just being there for the sake of being there.
Well, I think the only thing they could have really considered was clearing up the bottom side, because, I mean, the jungle was empty at that point of time, so it makes sense why they were actually kind of holding their position. But again, look at it. They're pulling the Lord to their side of the map. They want this fight. BBN, come on. Show yourself. Anax, once again, finds the hook of a lifetime. Checking out bushes, making sure that you are not safe. CJ is also able to open the map at the exact same time. Iron Hook doesn't connect this time. MHRLK wait for the timings. They know what they have to do. They cannot afford to lose this Lord, but they can waste as much time from PBN. If they're not in lane, they're not getting that EXP and sweet gold that they need, and Lord still goes down. Very well played from a macro position from MHRLK.
Very nice zoning. So we got the 2 most tankiest players really know how to open up the map. So we got NIX together with Zijif. One of them take each lane, and that's it. PBN, right? They have no way to go for the backline because, again, mobility is what they're lacking.
I mean, I think more than that, they know how to make their opponents bleed, wasting their times dancing around the Lord while they're at a deficit. Not to mention side lane EXP and as well as gold just bleeding out of PBN. Oh, very good game sense for Kelvin. Dashes in, making sure he anti-CCs himself to ensure no pickoffs. But the Iron Hook lands. The bite is going to come up next. Let's see what else they're going to invest in. No more ultimates. That's all they needed. Kelvin securing the kill. They walk out once again. MHRLK just showing dominance.
Oh, I mean, great move there from Kelvin. He went in alone because he knows he's anti-CC. There's no way that they can stop him. As long as he goes in, it's not about getting those kills. Oh, but there you go. Speaking about kills, it's going to be another one for MHRLK.
Yup, they are just following up. This Edith pick is kind of good. Like, Edith is following up very fast on Anax, even though the Feather Airstrike was already utilized prior to that fight. So at least we're seeing the uses of Edith, and especially at this level of play.
And now, MHRLK, they have total control of the map. PBN Strike, it's hard for me to see them coming back because the moment they show themselves, that's it. That's exactly what will happen.
Yup, all the Bloody Hunt coming on through as well. They find Farsa as a 1, but it's a 2-for-1. Unfortunately for MHRLK, they are going to lose an important member. They still get the turret. See why? Disrespectful, knowing he doesn't have the ult. Stands in front of his enemies, takes a couple of shots before disappearing back into the battle mirror image.
And the hook almost landed. Yeah, it was just like
funny.
By a single speck of dust.
Oh, man. Right now, man, teams from the Philippines, they're playing a little disrespectful. They know that they have the lead. They're really confident at pressing their lead as well. Like, with an 8K goal lead at this stage of the game, it is, they're not playing around.
Yeah, but I'm really liking the discipline. Oh, look at that. That almost landed again onto Ricardo. But I'm really liking the discipline from MHRLK. It's like, yes, you have control of the map. Like, all 3 lanes are pushed out, but you don't stay there. You're just like, okay, everything has been cleared out. Let's fall back. Let's continue to farm around us. And let's still open up that part of the map, especially the top side, because the objective is coming.
Yep, with purple buff up as well. Kaja is going to face check it first. Make sure that, MHRLK aren't around. They don't know just yet, but they need to learn from the common hook spots. Iron Hook comes out. Nanami knows for sure where he is. He should warn the rest of the team and start pulling this purple buff towards their side of the map. They're going to start Lord as well from the side of Kevin. PBN on the timer here. They have to make a choice. Do they take this fight or do they back off? It looks like they are going to back off here. They don't need to do anything crazy. Let this Lord fall into the hands of their opponents.
I mean, Ricardo at the forefront, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to find a way to grab one, but we can see the positioning of his teammates. They're just not ready for it. They're just too far away. So even if he managed to do so, immediately he will be countered upon.
Oh, what a standoff face to face. 3 members versus 5 members. 4 members actually on the opposite side. Nobody is willing to break the silence. Good job from MHLK. They just walk away from that. They're like, no, we have bottom jungle. We just need to clear up the map one by one. They spot us, but at the end of the day, they aren't here, and therefore, we can take these buffs. We can actually have this Lord pushing from mid as well as bottom side to finish off this fight. Let's see how this is going to play out. Tier 3 is already falling down. They find the heavy spin, but it doesn't really matter here. Feather Airstrike is going to make sure that Nami's already out of that fight with 1 man down. It allows MHRLK to continue their onslaught. Heavy spin to push in Edith underneath the fountain. Iron Hook lands on you, but unable to finish that kill. This is a good defense for the side of PBN Strike. The second wave coming. If they can hold off this second wave, they have an opportunity to come back into this game. MH got to make a choice here. It's a 4v4, and Feathered Airstrike is already back up. Do they go for the crystal? They need to clear out the minions. Just wait a little bit longer for this, but their time has passed, and they have to back away.
Still very, very disciplined here coming in from MHRLK. If you kind of think about it, right? The idea of Ricardo being the initiator with a divine judgment, he has failed to land a single one. And I kind of understand as well. It's because the frontliners for MHRLK, they position themselves really well in IEX, Sage. They know how to open up space, and it's very difficult to even reach on the Daiso.
Personally, I got to give it to Kelvin this game. He's stepping up big time, right? His teammates, especially with Ricardo, looking to catch one of the backline members. Kelvin's doing a good job at using his abilities to push away the opponents, to slow down the follow-up, to open up angles that the heavy spin won't pin you against the wall. These simple micro mechanics makes all the difference for somebody's life, and especially a life as valuable as Daizo's or CY.
Oh, Kelvin all alone, but he has the immortality, not going to be an issue there.
I mean, Fatal, it really isn't going to be much here. They weren't able to kill him instantly, and that's the problem. Kelvin can disrespect the time and space that PBN allow him to take.
Oh, look at this. So Kelvin has immortality, and we know that he's anti-CC. How are you going to stop this guy?
Well, for now, I think PBN Strike just have to wait a little bit longer. They're about to hit full build in just a bit. But this Lord is going to be a make it or break it for them. They can't lose. They can't afford to lose it, and MHRLK need to end this game so that they don't coin toss the ultra late stages against PBN Strike. Once again, Anax just making sure that he is standing close, trying to get that back line. Rizel, he's not confident. He's backing up. He's making the call. We're not taking this. We're not taking this. I do not have the angle, and it just isn't worth it.
And that's also because looking at the bottom lane, the minions have pushed in. So even if they choose to go for it, the minions could overtake the entire bottom lane, and that's going to be a devastating moment for them as well. So that's why for them to let the Lord go is the best choice.
They just want to hold on to their guns for now. As Lord starts pushing in, they're synchronizing the waves, and once again, the Iron Hook as well as the Bloody Hunt onto Nanami and a Feathered Airstrike to guarantee that we don't have a glue to cut us off. 4v5, same as every Lord push we've seen so far. MHRLK look to end the game. Finally, they get the Iron Hook of a lifetime, but Edith is pushed out of position, locked in by two ults. Edith trying to get out with the ult as well. Doesn't survive, and even with the Winds of Nature, Bloods is trying to get on out of there. Immortality is up, but it's too late. The Crystal is down, and that's going to be a 2-0 from MH.
But that was pretty much the only time that I can clearly see the Divine Judgment being used. The rest of it is like maybe for like a second and you got punished. So to me, I feel that it is just how MHRLK, they position themselves. Again, they're very disciplined and they know how to come in at the right timing together. So if any one of them gets picked out, they immediately come in as a team.
Absolutely. I think they're very in sync with each other.